Nepal is experiencing its worst political crisis in years as Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli resigned today following deadly anti-corruption protests that have paralyzed the Himalayan nation. At least 19 people have died and over 100 injured in clashes between security forces and demonstrators, marking the most violent civil unrest Nepal has seen since its transition to democracy. The protests, dubbed Gen Z demonstrations by organizers, began as opposition to a government social media ban, but quickly escalated into broader anti-corruption movements. Despite an indefinite curfew, protesters have set fire to government's buildings, attacked politicians' residence, and forced the evacuation of ministers by military helicopters. Tribhuvan International Airport, Nepal's main gateway, has suspended all flights due to security concerns and smoke from nearby fires, said by demonstrators.
On Tuesday, fury first erupted.
The Nepali Army has been deployed to protect parliament while senior officials shelter in military barracks for their safety. Multiple cabinet ministers have resigned, including Water Supply Minister Pradeep Yadav and Agriculture Minister Ramnath Adhikari, both citing the government's violent suppressions of peaceful protesters. These events echo recent uprisings across South Asia. Bangladesh witnessed similar youth-led protests in July 2024, initially triggered by quota system reforms but expanding into broader anti-government demonstrations that ultimately led to Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's resignation after weeks of violent clashes. Sri Lanka has experienced comparable mass protests in 2022 where economic collapse and widespread corruption allegations forced President Gotabaya Rajapaksa to flee the country and resign. Demonstrators occupied government's building, including the presidential palace, demanding the accountability for the nation's financial crisis. The common thread across these movements have been youth-driven frustration with governance, corruption, and economic stagnation. Nepal faces deep-rooted challenges that have fueled public anger. The country ranks poorly in global corruption indices, with Transparency International placing it among world's more corrupt nations. Despite being rich in natural resources, including significant hydroelectronic potential, Nepal remains one of Asia's poorest countries. Economic mismanagement has plagued successive governments. Youth unemployment remains critically high, with many educated young people migrating abroad for opportunities. The country's infrastructure development has been hampered by bureaucratic inefficiency and allegations of embezzlement in major projects. Political instability has been chronic. Nepal has seen frequent government changes since abolishing its monarchy in 2008. Coalition governments often prioritize power sharing over policy implementations, leading to stalled development programs and growing public frustration. The social media ban that initially sparked this protest was widely viewed as an attempt to suppress dissent rather than address legitimate grievances about governance and corruption. The protesters' demands center on systematic reforms, transparent governance, anti-corruption measures, improved public services, and economic opportunities for young people. Many express feeling abandoned by traditional political parties that have cycled through the power without delivering meaningful change. Oli's resignation plunges Nepal into fresh political uncertainty. The country now faces the challenge of forming a new government while addressing the underlying issues that sparked these deadly protests. International observers are watching closely, particularly India and China, both of which have significantly interest in Nepal's stability. The protests have disrupted normal life across the country, with businesses closed and transport network affected. The question remains whether Nepal's political establishment can respond to these demands for reform or whether the country will face prolonged instability. The youth-led movement shows no signs of backing down, demanding fundamental changes to how Nepal is governed. As the situation continues to evolve, Nepal stands at a crossroads between maintaining the status quo and embarking on the systematic reforms its young population is demanding through these unprecedented demonstrations.